good. And now just to make sure my end here. Yep. Ooh, I had the wrong molecule. Come on. I need to fix that. Trial. We have to have the molecule on this room. Going up to live. Let's send out the notification. Let's also get that mic closer to me. Alright, so, next up should be the final trial. Pretty sure I have all the information I need. We'll find out. Guess I'm the first one this time.
Makoto,
You're early, Makoto.
listen.
Does that mean you feel prepared? Yeah, for now at least. Where's everyone else? Why aren't they here yet?
However,
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll be here soon. Just like she said. Byakuya. Byakuya? So they definitely all think that I'm the mastermind. Arrived one after another. They're all in the same state of shock. Hina? Where's Toko/Jill? Hero? Silence. It wasn't any normal silence. It was a deafening silence of fear and suspicion. It was like the first-class trial.
You called for me and so I appear.
But I'm late!
I'm on fire!
Strong, silent master, so wonderful, so cool, so hot, my name for a blaze.
Yes!
Now listen, everything will be just fine if you wait for me.
My beautiful scissors!
With my scissor-sharp scissors in hand, I'll stab, gouge, and shoot the master of evil. I thought you couldn't kill anyone but adorable little boys. If it's what master wants, it can be boy, girl, or anything between. I can handle it. There's Toko. Where am I? No human language can describe the disappointment I'm feeling right now. Is everyone here? Ooh, where? Ooh, we got spaces, I see.
Well now.
Okay, well then, let's begin.
Thrills, chills, kills!
This final class trial is going to be slathered in pitch black despair by maximum sorrow.
that's fine.
You're right, this is the final class trial, and this time will be fair.
How strange.
What do you mean this time? It's almost like standard. I don't care if it's standing around.
Unbelievable.
There's a Mr. Fair Guy Universe contest I take from PR every year. I'm trying to picture Maki with Kiara, and you know what? It works. That's the scary thing. It works. Oh, win this game super fair and square.
Today, I'm feeling white.
Now make sure everyone watching at home knows that despair is mightier than the hope. I get it. It took a bit, but I get it.
Stop talking.
Not your tedious dribble. Begin the trial already. Sure, let's begin the trial already. I'll be waiting for you down below.
You guys.
So don't try and run away. Nothing as long as ever, Monokuma disappeared. Whatever.
In the name of my family.
This will be over in no time. With inexplicable confidence, Byakuya was the first to the elevator. One by one, the others followed. Nobody made eye contact, nobody said a word, they just disappeared into the elevator.
Hey,
They're all acting odd.
However,
Either way, that is something. Yes, I do. It's the photograph. Yeah, I think so.
however,
We can tell us all about it soon. Last trial. You're right. I'm ready.
so...
Ready to win, right? Of course. Glad to hear you say that. Then Kyoko was aboard the elevator. What am I doing? It's going to save. I have to save anyway. Before making my way toward the opening, step after step toward that gate to the mall. Resolved that this would be the last time. Figured myself that there was no fear, no mystery left. Pushed the anxiety down, calmed my trembling body, and finally, on steady legs, I passed the threshold and stood in the elevator. Without warning, it began to descend. Deeper and deeper. Deeper, deeper, deeper still. Deeper and deeper, deeper. Deeper, deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper it fell. I closed my eyes and the sight fell away. All sound, too, disappeared. Alone in the universe, I wait for the elevator doors to open for the last time. Could have been seconds or centuries later, but the gentle vibration of the elevator come to an end. I slowly opened my eyes. This is the final trial site? What do you think? Isn't it just the perfect background for the signing of Christmas May?
Yoo-hoo!
It's the long-awaited last stage, the always exciting final boss battle. I'm gonna sit in on this one. I'm gonna sit right here in the vacant 16 seat.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Well then, let's begin. He has to sit there to make it a fair trial. Yes, save. I really can't set anything else. Lost in thought. I need the time limit increase, I know that. Set his aim a little. It doesn't hurt to have. If I had one more skill point, I could use this. Breathing technique I need. Melodious voice I need. I don't really need the extra capacity on the bullets. Basically, it's this or Candy Works. Candy Works is a better option. So I think I'm good there. First preparations.
Since this will be the final class trial, I've come up with a special rule.
Uh-oh.
So listen up! If you can figure out Mukuro's killer and go on to solve the mystery of this school, you guys win! But if you can't, then I win!
Okay, so
And
just
of
what we already
course,
know.
waiting for the loser is the super exciting, super heart-pounding punishment!
Are you saying that if you lose, you'll execute yourself?
Yep, sure will.
Really?
And that's final? No loopholes? No wiggling out of it later?
Of course not. Bears never go back on their word.
It's not the bear I'm worried about.
Never mind all that. I just have one question for you.
Oh, you're taking this serious, huh? Are you feeling okay?
Is the mastermind only one person?
Ooh, that's a smart question.
Hmm?
Don't bother. I already know the answer. You're all the mastermind, aren't you? You're all out to get me!
We're gonna have the bullet time thing already.
I'm right, aren't I? I knew it!
New photo, places to check, headmaster's key handbook.
You guys have all been working together, haven't you?
Better let this go through
I
the
have
first time.
evidence, so I know I'm right.
Hey, you stole my line. You're all out to get me. I'm sure of it. I have evidence of my own.
What a coincidence. I too have evidence to present. Evidence that proves everyone other than me has been working together.
Got it.
Wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense. How can the three of us each have that kind of evidence?
No,
That's
he's
easy.
wrong. It's not just you three. I have evidence too.
What? You too?
The evidence you're all referring to is this group photo, right?
Well, yeah.
Except in each one, they're not there. I think that's it.
Huh? Wait, but mine's different. With the picture you have, I'm in it. But that can't be right. Because in my picture... See? I'm the only one not in it.
Yeah, it's almost like you were the one taking the photo. I wonder how many laps Soccer has done. Here's much in this case.
Hero, you have a picture too, right? Let's see it.
Okay, so the photo took a picture in the classroom. Nina's looking at the track field. Hero, what's
Okay,
yours?
but be careful with it. It's pretty important evidence.
Classroom again, okay. Look at Byakuya in the back there. With Toko back there as well, I just noticed. This one too, just like I thought.
So the secret in these pictures has been revealed.
It's pretty obvious.
Secret or whatever, I don't care. You guys are all in on this together. That's why I'm the only one missing.
Except you're not, we just showed
But
that.
you're in my picture. You're the ones trying to trick me.
So the whole purpose behind these photos was to get us questioning and fighting with each other. The mastermind laid a trap to make us each think everyone else was working against us. Huh? I laid a trap? A trap?
How rude! What grounds do you have for such audacious accusations?
What if I need to reveal Monika's track? Each photo is something common. Next we're going what person is in shown in the photos. That person is... what's
I got it! In each case, the only one not in the picture is the person who received it. So, in the picture I got, I'm the only one missing. In the picture Hina got, she's the only one missing. And in the picture Hero got, he's the only one missing.
We'll assume Byakuya's not going to show us his.
As long as we're talking about it, I suppose I should show you my photo as well.
In other words, Monokuma gave each of us a group
I want to take a better
photo
look at
in
that
which
photo.
that person wasn't included.
And when we each saw our picture, we just assumed everyone else was the enemy?
Yep.
Figured it out, huh?
Yeah, I thought that must be it. But how was that a hint?
You know, there might be more to this than just Monokuma trying to confuse us. Something else will probably about that with the pictures. Listen, what's digging at?
Listen, can I see everyone's group photo one more time? It's not directly connected to what we're talking about, but I'd like to double check something.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I don't mind.
There's something unusual about these group photos. There's like you compare each of them one more time. Byakuya's picture, we get a better look at the facing back there. So I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. Face. So I noticed that immediately with the more picture. I'm thinking it's important. Juco's she's from this one. She's facing the other way in this one, so her face is there. Again, facing the other way, so her face is there. Face covered up in this one. Something sprays for all of them. Something I can't quite do that. Something. Photos updated.
Can you just forget about the photo already? Ugh. Trying to trick me with such an obviously fake photo? I'm still pissed about that.
Oh, the photo's not fake.
And on top of that, they went to all that trouble to make it look like we were wearing matching uniforms.
So you think they're fake? No, I assure you, they're quite real.
What are you talking about? There's no way.
There's a really easy way.
Yeah! I don't remember ever taking a picture like that. So it's gotta be a fake. I'm sure of it.
But you know, can we really be so sure?
Huh?
Don't get me wrong, I don't remember taking this picture either. But is that really enough to be absolutely positive they're fake?
What do you mean?
The reason I don't remember this picture isn't necessarily because it's fake. It might be some other reason. Some terrible reason. Unbelievable, but entirely horrifying reason. I can skip it, okay. And, yep, sure enough, amnesia. Alright. I need the M. I need the E again. S. And
Now I understand. Let's say that somehow we'd all lost our memories. That could explain it, couldn't it?
Oh, I get it. So we all just lost our memories at the same time and forgot about the photo. Makes sense.
well, yes and no. Is what happened? No, it doesn't make any sense.
As if. You expect me to believe such an unbelievable occult-type story?
You're the clairvoyant.
Yeah, we all lost our memories? That's just crazy.
It's really natural to and believe it. No matter how much they refuse, that's the absolute truth. They have no choice. Give them forward until they accept it. There's another way to prove it besides the pictures. You want to clue me in on that? Oh, right, we have that. Okay.
You're saying we all got spontaneous amnesia? Since when did this turn into some kind of sci-fi fantasy?
I promise you, I haven't lost my memory. Ever since I got to this school, I remember everything that's happened.
So the idea that we all lost our memories.
Is totally stupid, obviously! You're saying we all got spontaneous amnesia? Since when did this turn into some kind of sci-fi fantasy?
I promise you, I haven't lost my memory. Ever since I got to this school, I remember everything that's happened.
So the idea that we all lost our memories.
Is totally stupid, obviously!
I know what evidence it was.
You're saying we all got spontaneous amnesia? Since when did this turn into some kind of sci-fi fantasy?
I promise you, I haven't lost my memory. Ever since I got to this school, I I remember everything that's happened.
There we go.
No, it's wrong. Those photos aren't the only things that point to the possibility of memory loss. This DVD does the same thing.
You're not gonna show us something indecent, are you?
No, I'm not you.
No, it's nothing like that. It's a video of all of us being interviewed by the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster.
When you say all of us, you mean
I mean all of us, including you.
you lie? I never did any kind of interview.
No, it's not a lie. Just watch the DVD and you'll see for yourself. The headmaster did, in fact, interview you.
What are you saying?
I didn't imagine you would remember.
It's not about whether or not I remember. You expect me to believe all this? That I lost my memory somehow?
Well, we don't have any way to refute it, so we have no choice but to accept it as reality.
I see Byakuya's getting smarter.
How can you say that? We're talking about living, breathing amnesia here.
Hiro, do you know what amnesia is?
To be honest, I have something else on my mind right now.
Something else?
You said the DVD contains recordings of us being interviewed by the headmaster, right? What were the interviews about?
The headmaster sat each of us down, one at a time, and asked us the same question. He asked us if we could accept the idea of spending the rest of our lives in this school.
What kind of question is that?
And how did we answer?
You all said yes.
We'd say no, obviously.
Actually, we all said we could. Even me. I heard myself say yes. I could spend the rest of my life at this school.
Why? Why would you say yes to something like that?
I don't know. I don't remember a thing.
The same goes for everyone else. Nobody remembers. You don't remember choosing to live here forever, or even talking to the headmaster about it at all.
It doesn't matter if I remember or not. Even if I bought the whole amnesia thing, the idea that I would want to live here forever? That's just insane! How can I believe that?
Insane or not, we can't move forward until you accept it. Am I right?
You sure are, 'cause it's all true.
What?
I know it sounds absurd, but if it's the truth, there's nothing we can do about it.
Indeed, we only have one path in front of us.
Then, we really...
Yep, you all totally lost your memory at the same time.
Yeah, thanks for that.
This is all making my head hurt.
And this isn't like some normal kind of memory loss. You stole those specific memories from us, didn't you?
I'm trying to figure out how that one works.
Oopsie, you figured that part out too, huh?
Of course. There's no way we would all just happen to get amnesia at the same time.
How could someone just steal our memories?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out.
How? Come, that hardly matters right now. If I said it was hypnotism, would you believe me? Or we opened up your skulls and messed with your brains?
Honestly, at this point, yes.
Would you really believe anything I said? How it happened doesn't matter right now.
What matters is figuring out what memories you took from us. That's what you're trying to say, right?
I knew I could count on you.
The interview with the headmaster, taking that group photo, those can't be the only memories we lost.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
There must have been a purpose to it all. A reason for taking away our memories.
Of course there was a purpose. It all has to do with the original motive.
The original motive. I still think I'm right on this.
You mean the motive you came up with to try and get us to all kill each other?
that has something to do with the memories you stole from us?
Let's look at the pictures.
It sure does. But that part's still a secret. Anyway, I'm sure it's not easy, but let's all focus on the class trial for the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Okay, so you want us to figure out who killed her before we do anything else?
Do that. Well, either way, we have to clean everyone in history. So, who killed Mukuro? Mr. Mastermind, that's what we proposed.
So who did it? Who killed her?
Whoever did it is the same one who's behind everything. That much I'm sure of.
But when you think about it, is the mastermind really here in the school?
Of course! They have to be here somewhere.
What makes you so sure?
What does make me so sure?
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles away.
No, it's wrong. There's no question that the mastermind is somewhere within the school.
How do you know? Did you find some evidence or something?
Yes, actually.
In the back of the data center, I found a panel that controls Monokuma. The mastermind must have been using that to control him all this time. So there can't be any doubt. The mastermind has been inside the school all along.
There can't be any doubt. In which case, there also can be no doubt that the mastermind is one of us.
Oh, yes, we can.
What? Why?
Recall what Makoto told us Monokuma said to him earlier.
Yeah. That's another trap.
So if the mastermind is in the school, we have to assume it can only be that 16th student.
How'd they manage to survive all of this?
So we're the only ones here? It's not me! I'm not the mastermind!
Well, it's not me!
I blame Makoto!
I was expecting that.
What? Why me?
'Cause it's super weird how you're the only one who survived being executed.
That's actually a fair argument.
Oh, I get it. The only way he could have survived is if he was actually the mastermind himself, right?
Aw, nuts! Ya got me!
Wait! What are you trying to say?
Everyone, calm down. There's no reason to panic. The mastermind's true identity will become clear soon enough. Just as soon as we find out who killed Mukuro.
That's a good point. Rather than wasting time bickering, we should put our minds to work solving this mystery.
Yeah, well, how much time have we already spent talking about the murder?
Honestly, not that much.
He's right. What more is there to talk about?
If you want something to talk about, I think there might be one thing. We haven't fully established what Mukuro's fatal injury was.
Huh? But I thought we figured that out. She died when she got hit in the back of the head.
No, that isn't actually what killed her. It was something entirely different.
It is like
Wouldn't you agree, Makoto?
Mukuro's actual death must have been the other wounds.
I got it! All of the wounds covering her body. That's what really killed her.
Hey, now hold on a second. You did read the Monokuma file, right?
Why was covered other wounds for at least several days old? Days, not necessarily old, and there's a freezer.
It made it pretty clear. Those wounds were made at least a few days ago. So they can't possibly be what killed her.
Consider this. What if the murder itself took place at least a few days ago?
What?
What if, when we discovered her body, she'd already been dead for several days? If that's true, then naturally the wounds that killed her would appear to be however many days old.
That doesn't make any sense. Because Because she had all those wounds before she ever came here.
We don't know that.
Huh? How do you know that?
Isn't it obvious? She was the ultimate soldier, right? So that means, you know.
Actually, it'd be kind of odd for the ultimate soldier to have wounds, wouldn't it?
You're wrong.
She denied me before I could even say anything. Come on. I mean, you think I'm not weird, okay? At least listen to what I have to say before you deny me.
I'm so sure we're going to deny you. Why bother saying in the first place? Okay, talking to Freezer. We're not.
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier. She must have been in 100 different battles. So, when you think about it, obviously, she got all those wounds in battle.
Are you finished?
You didn't deny me this time. You made me go all cutesy.
Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it.
Bullets. I need to not have single scores. Got it. Okay.
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier. She must have been in 100 different battles. So, when you think about it, obviously, she got all those.
No, that's wrong. No, Mukuro didn't suffer those wounds in battle. The file we found in the headmaster's room said as much. Despite the time she spent in battle after battle as a member of Fenrir, when she entered this school, she hadn't sustained a single injury.
To be denied so completely. Actually, it's kind of refreshing.
No. You're boss. Get it.
Maybe it's because of all of Master's training.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say on Byakuya.
Anyway, so we can be sure that Mukuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school. In which case, they could be the very thing that killed her.
As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead.
Unless anyone has any better suggestions, I think we can say this with confidence. The wounds Mukuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her.
Mukuro's fatal injury has been added to the school section.
But if that's what killed her,
Also, let's do this. I'm probably doing this a lot because I do like it too nice.
then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long?
Yep.
That's exactly what it means. When we found her body in the garden, she'd already been dead for several days.
So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night? Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant. If Mukuro had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her.
You're right.
So who was it that attacked you?
The real mastermind. Mastermind. There we go.
I got it! The one who attacked me was the true mastermind. When we discovered Mukuro in the garden wearing the same mask, I naturally assumed she must have been the one who attacked me. But I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the mastermind.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here listening. I think I'm gonna jump in.
Really?
Let's start off with a nice
nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just that, right? An assumption. You can't really know who was under that mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of a mask. The true identity of the masked attacker is Mukuro Ikusaba. At least, that's what I think.
Yeah, nice try.
Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise?
Why? Possibly no. No, there's no way Mikuru was the one that attacked me. If I didn't see their face. Mikuru had a very obvious fender tattoo comparing that to the last attacker. Should be obvious.
You never saw their... So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh? And what is this other part? Is it the right hand? Or the left hand? Maybe the right foot? Or perhaps the left foot? Or could it be the hips?
On a right hand, right? Pretty sure it's a right hand, so...
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh? And what is this other part? Is it the right hand? Or the left hand? Maybe the right foot? Or perhaps the left foot? Or could it be the hips? You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was...
Here we go, okay.
No,
I just wasn't sure the right way to do that.
Mukuro had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo. But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me. And there was no such tattoo. So there's no way the person behind the mask was Mukuro.
Yeah, well, okay. You got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, you know, someone else, right?
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night.
This goes back to
Yeah! We were in the gym tearing you apart, so it could have been any of us.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her.
Yeah, this
Uh-oh! No snappy comeback? Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
Oh, did she want to take off her gloves? Or do you think she won't say anything? Ooh, that is scored. Yoko's removed her gloves.
Your hands!
Not thinking, I let out a gasp. It's more than just a little burned skin.
Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
And you got yourself burned.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Yoko seemed to savor the words that she said then. She put her gloves back on.
My scars should suffice as proof.
Yeah, they do.
Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind.
This is just awful! On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
Oh no, not that.
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
There's a pretty easy way to do that. So I'm pretty sure I've already figured out how it was done.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
Then she was being stored somewhere?
Yep.
To hide a body here. To just store it somewhere?
Here's a freezer. There's only one place. If anywhere else the body could be stored. The biolab.
Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it's the perfect place to hide a body. And it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
Yep.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
Yep, the tarp. Proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden. So it made its way from the biolab to the alright, that's the bottom. Not that far apparently. Tarp, there we go.
I got it! What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says biolab.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a compliment or not.
In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
That's just a wild guess.
Nope.
Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
You talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
Yep, I got it. Pretty sure it's the number of bodies that are in there. Mercy. Biolab? Talk about...
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Oh, we're going to do it to Monica now. Okay.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
Pull myself together and think. See Biolab. Talk
Hey,
about...
by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
What one thing?
What do you think? I'm talking about your family.
What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message. So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
You know, if Brack's on TV, that'd be easy to fake.
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
You need to calm down. Get him against me. The same act those things versus the Biolab. So once you shut him up, you just still be consistent and slam him. Consistency has to be in one area where the numbers just all match up. Alright, here we go.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! 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 What? What do you want? Are you sure about this?
Final strike. Okay.
I'm not listening!
Ah, I had it.
Proof! 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 Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this?
Ah. Mario pulled on uncover the mystery in school before his dad. That's my favorite question, Molly.
Is this really the end for all of us?
Yes, I want to give it another
I
shot.
refuse to give up yet.
I pressed this button too soon because I wasn't paying attention to what it actually said. I actually have the answer. It's the number of lights because they don't match up to the number of supposedly dead.
Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Actually, almost had a perfect run on this. That's the really annoying thing.
Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
There we go.
I'm not listening!
Biolab lights.
This should prove it. The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
I can't believe I made that stupid mistake.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
Yep.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in, and there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
There would have to be 10 people killed.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why?
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
Wait, that's the key to solving this mystery. Byakuya? In fact, I'm gonna do this, just to make it easier to visualize. Byakuya died first. Juko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Kako was sixth, then Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was eighth. Sakura was ninth. Which makes the crew 10. Sakura. So 10 people in all.
10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
No, I'm saying one death was fake.
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
Nope.
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then,
Well, almost.
whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
Remember the clues are a few days old on Jupiter? So there are less bodies of murders. At least for more murders and victims? Why is that? The same person killed
I
twice.
got it! What about if the same person was killed twice?
Huh? Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Murdered and murdered again?
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
Yes.
It was Mukuro, of course. Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
Yep.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
Oh, you got sloppy. This is easy.
All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious. Because Kyoko's totally delusional. Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata? Chihiro Fujisaki? Mondo Owada?
I know you're trying to confuse me, but I already figured this part out.
Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever? Or maybe... Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Who's that little channel over the body? But he knows something secret. Yes.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima? Leon Kuwata?
Okay, now.
Chihiro Fujisaki? Mondo Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever? Or maybe... Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Alright.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima?
It was.
No, that's wrong. Junko.
I had to figure out exactly what I wanted me to do there. The white noise. You have to get rid of the white noise and then attack.
Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears, all over her body.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body.
Yep.
When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered,
They're probably identical.
And the similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same.
so let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears.
Yep.
Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again.
Yep.
Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
Yep.
It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person?
Not quite.
Wait, so then... what does it all mean?
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9, which also means that among the people we thought were dead, one is still alive.
Yep.
And that's the true identity of the mastermind?
Yep.
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
Common sense. Come
We
on.
already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive.
No.
She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died. So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta be. Total silence? Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I?
Nope. Super alive? Still alive, Super? No. But you really believe that? There's no way Super can stop is still alive.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Then she's still alive?
That's right. She made it look like Junko's body was her. So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
That's not true. Even if her body count is hard, that's really possible.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
No, that's wrong.
The sizes are there.
No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32. Everything in her profile is consistent with that course.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
It's pretty obvious when you think about it. So it made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. But one person could be.
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
Are you sure about that?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade.
Yes.
But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Yes, but there is an obvious answer there. Let's check absolutely.
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
So, the idea that she's still alive.
Still possible.
It must be wrong.
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud. Too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
You know, thinking back, it'd be odd for a woman soldier to have fake fingernails. be odd is for the idol to have fake fingernails. So the answer is pretty obvious.
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
It's a really easy one.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Huh? The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
Junko survived? Check her, she's dead, I'm sure. Still, she were alive somehow. Mean that Junko's not the one that died? Junko with someone else entirely? We should use some sort of trick. Okay, got it. L. E. And the D. Sorry.
Now I understand.
I'm immature.
That's it. What if she switched places with someone else?
Switch places?
That's right. Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything match Mukuro's profile, right?
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that?
Who does they necessarily did?
Right when she was about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
No.
Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
Has to be some way. Figure out how to do it, how to do it. Just the beginning.
I got it! The two of them may have switched places from the very beginning.
What? From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Hold on. So you're saying the Junko we first met
Was Mukuro the entire time, yes.
was actually Mukuro all along?
Then we'd already met her?
I had, like, a normal conversation with her.
When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko, and we never would have known the difference. That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right? Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
She could have hidden it with foundation or something like that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished. Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
Yeah, I was trying to resolve the tattoo thing, but yeah, the foundation makes sense.
But if she really did use foundation,
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup from the very beginning?
Yep.
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together.
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
Yep, and there's something good here. Like finding Alright.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
Sure it is.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity? As if.
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
I tried to protect her identity? When did I do that?
Sure, you still get it, but try to seems all you want doesn't matter. You've already figured it out. Try to hide Chuku's identity, not just once, but twice. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't say. Okay. First time before our latest investigation. Okay, and
Shoot!
okay, like with 7. Just 31. Chest 31. Wait, was the same. Okay, that's what it's looking for.
Shoot!
Okay, I'm confused now. This? No.
Shoot!
Okay, so it's not gonna get perfect on this no matter what. I don't see how it could be the group photo, but maybe. Oh, what matters now is the right after that's who is electronic image right to keep the scene during investigation.
Shoot!
Oh, the interview. No, I'm an idiot.
While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
It's just modern. You can play it stuff and everything wrong.
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, did you?
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke.
No, it wasn't a fluke. That's why definitely wasn't straight up power outage. It's not the only time I tried to fight people that hit. That's why I tried to cover up one other piece of evidence. I'll reveal that. Yeah, I know what that is. The question is, how do I show this off? Oh, this again, huh?
What do you want? What do you want?
I think I'm starting to
Are
figure out how
you
this
sure
works.
about this? You're getting all riled up.
I just did badly.
Is this...
Yes, it will continue.
I refuse to give up yet.
This is a really short timer for that, by the way.
What do you want? What do you want? Are you sure about this? You're getting all riled up. That's impossible.
There we go. File strike. We tried the right one.
That's
Photo,
impossible.
Kyoko and Headmaster. Group photo. It's the group photo.
What do you want?
Group
That's
photo. Okay.
impossible.
This should
Press
prove
the
it.
wrong button by mistake. Her face is covered in every single one of those photos.
The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You...
Oh.
I noticed it just a little while ago, when we were all comparing the photos we'd gotten. In all the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
What's so unusual about them?
Usual circumstances come to all these photos. Junko's face.
I got it! Junko's face. The one thing common to every single photo is that you can't see her face. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think? And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Mukuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet. With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko. Which is why you had to have pictures that didn't show her face. Because if we could have seen her face, then it would have clearly revealed that the Junko in the pictures wasn't the Junko that we knew.
Xanadu!
Xanadu?
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Mukuro switched places before we met either of them.
So she killed Mukuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she'd died. And the real Junko is still alive.
And she's the one behind this whole murderous situation. This killing game.
Now we need to know the reason why. I'm sure that doesn't count as solving all the mysteries.
She's the true mastermind and the ultimate despair.
Xanadu times 2!
With this, the identity and the crimes of the mastermind have been exposed.
No, wait! Hold on!
Don't bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate. You don't have anywhere left to run. I'll prove everything. Right now.
Oh. Yes, we actually get to do this time. Okay. Let's get the vehicle. I got you straight away, man. Oh. Mukuro, but I don't know how to show that. That's my key response. Okay, that's pretty easier. If I tackle something that wasn't, I guess tonight. Mask my attack means what's gonna stop them. That was Gyoko. Their surprise attack failed, mess my blood, my root. That's gotta be this, right? This condition of the dead body when I first found the guard. That's wrong. Identify the security of this body. Alright, what's this one? Oh, somebody haunted it. Okay, got it. Okay, that should be everything.
Here's exactly what happened. We met the ultimate fashionista, Junko and Oshima, right after we all arrived here. But that wasn't the real Junko. The girl we saw before us was actually the 16th student who had taken Junko's place. And that girl's name was Mukuro Ikusaba.
Seriously? Alright, controller died again. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's see if this works. It does. Okay.
But it wasn't long before she died at the hands of Monokuma. In other words, the mastermind, Junko Enoshima. Her body was kept in a biolab, which had been converted into a morgue, until Junko decided to put her body to use. Junko dragged the body out of the biolab, using the tarp to carry her to the garden. She fabricated the murder to try and frame Kyoka, who'd proven to be one big thorn in her side. Meanwhile, she wanted us all to think Mukuro was still alive and hiding somewhere inside the school. So she put on a mask and then attacked me. After making sure I'd gotten a good look at the mask, she left the room. Then she put the same mask on Mukuro's body. This was all to make us think the person who attacked me and the corpse were one and the same.
And it worked.
She wanted us to believe the murder had only recently taken place. Finally, by strapping a bomb to the body, she was able to destroy any remaining evidence. She needed to hide the body's true identity.
Honestly, I missed this part during the last investigation, so I'm glad I got to do this.
She had to make sure we didn't find out it was actually the same person we'd met in the beginning. This is the truth behind Mukuro's murder, and the one who carried it all out is the true mastermind. The one controlling Monokuma. The real Junko Enoshima. That's the whole story behind this incident. Well, what do you have to say to that?
What? Are you broken again?
You can't get out of this, so don't even try.
Come on! It's time you finally revealed yourself!
It's not like you're an endangered species or something. How long do you plan to keep hiding?
Give it up, Junko. The game's over.
Over? Did you really think the story would end once we reached the climax of the case?
No, not really.
Wrong! There's still plenty more to go!
We have been waiting so very long for peasants like you to appear.
Oh, I hate her.
If you swear your fealty to us, we will reward you with half of the entire world. We've even drawn up the deed already. We will grant you honor, status, in some of our home cooking. Have you made your choice? Will you serve under us?
Well, I'm tempted to see what happens. Okay.
Oh, did you think I was being serious? Sorry, I was just messing with you. It's been so long since I've had an audience. Even I'm not sure what kind of role I'm supposed to play. Anyway, looks like I've finally been set free. Having to play Monokuma all the time, day after day. It was like I was stuck in purgatory. Or like a slow suicide. I get bored so easy, you know?
Your face!
Huh? What about my face? What's wrong with my beautiful face? People have told me I'm cuter than 100 chihuahuas combined.
I feel like this isn't the first time I've seen you.
I got it! That's right! It was before I ever came to this school. I remember seeing a magazine cover. And you were on it.
Wow, you have a pretty good memory. I guess that's why you've made it this far, huh?
So I was right. Then what you told me in the main hall when this all began...
Sometimes a little lie is necessary to keep things moving along. Wouldn't you agree?
That explains why she didn't quite seem the same, because she was a different person all along.
I'm me. And Mukuro is Mukuro. She tried her best. But there's just no way she could have passed as the ultimate fashionista.
Seriously, what's the monotone?
Two people can never become one as long as the walls of mind and body exist. Not even if they're twins.
They actually are twins, aren't they?
Twins!
I know, it's such a cliche, right? I'm almost embarrassed to admit it. So basically, Mukuro and I had your stereotypical twin relationship. The older sister, tough and proud. That was Mukuro. The younger sister, smart and cute. That was...
Me! Junko fucking Enoshima! And together, we were the Despair Sisters, aka the Ultimate Despair!
Whoa! She's a totally different person now!
Like I said, I get bored easy as hell! I even get fucking bored with myself! But if you're twins, why do you have different last names?
Let's see. Adoption. Moving out of family. Or, stage name.
Oh, that again? You have any idea how many times people ask me that shit? Maybe it's new to your dumb ass, but it bores me to tears. Answering the same questions over and over? Just make up whatever answer you want. I don't give a shit. The truth's fucking lame anyway.
So it doesn't matter, basically.
But if she was your twin, that means you killed your own sister?
And for reasons deeper and darker than the ocean. Ha! As if!
Well, I suppose I'd better explain.
And now she's in a teacher role.
For my plan to work, someone had to be able to control the killing game from behind the scenes. The so-called mastermind had to operate Monokuma, keep an eye on everyone, things like that. But after looking at the situation, I determined it would be impossible for Mukuro to perform such duties. Because naturally, she turned out to be the letdown of the family.
It's like this is the kidnapping.
leaving me behind to run off and join some band of mercenaries. Such a disappointment. So, I decided to play the role of director and have her join the rest of you in your school life. I could have let her work alongside me, but she would have been useless to me that way. Besides, 15 students seemed like a solid number to start with. Of course, the fact that she was the ultimate soldier posed something of a problem. She had what I call the 3 atrocities. Atrociously rank, atrociously filthy, atrociously repulsive.
God, I hate you.
It was atrociously clear just how out of touch she was with the rest of society. Meanwhile, my ultimate fashionista status has an undeniable appeal that I didn't want to go to waste.
And that's why you switched identities?
Sadly, her inability to match my personality was even greater than I'd calculated. It was a lost cause. She was nothing more than a bit player, an extra unworthy of lines. Being the utter disappointment that she was, anyone would have expected her to get killed off right away. Which is precisely why I killed her. To meet everyone's expectations.
That can't be your only reason, can it?
I suspect it is.
Well, no, of course not. I also did it to avoid becoming bored.
I've never been a stickler for following a plan to the letter, you know?
Really hate her.
If I planned everything out and knew just what was gonna happen, that'd be so boring. So, I changed things just a bit and decided to use Mukuro to make a little point.
In other words, Mukuro's death was a one-sided, premeditated act of betrayal, just as I suspected. When Mukuro was killed, she must have been as surprised as anybody else.
Oh yeah, that was her reaction.
So, you figured it out? Well, you're right. There's no way Mukuro could have pulled off such a convincing performance. But she did teach you all a very valuable lesson, don't you think?
How can you talk like that? You sacrificed your own sister. How does that not even bother you?
What? I sacrificed her? That's what's got you so hot under the collar? Jeez, misunderstandings sure are scary.
Okay, please go to a different personality.
We were the ultimate despair, you know? So we never had any kind of hope or expectations. Nope, I felt despair as long as I can remember. Like I never should have been born at all. When I was born, I cried tears of total despair. So that's why for us, it's not a big deal whether we die or kill. We're just those kinds of people. We can do anything. We've always been filled with despair. So when we do something, we go all the way and live without regret. So you just murdered your own sister and didn't think anything of it? That's not true at all. We were twins. How could I not be sad?
Like mushrooms.
That's why it gets me so excited. Killing my precious sister with my own 2 hands. That act is filled with so much despair. You can't help but put a super in front of it. It's like super, 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 super despair. No, more than that. Super, 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 super despair. It just feels so good.
What the hell is wrong with you?
And my sister, too. In that moment of death, I think she must have felt that despair. After all, to be murdered by your own sister, and only as an example to someone else, she must have died feeling such excruciating hopelessness. I'm so jealous of her. Super jealous.
I knew you couldn't be just some ordinary person. You're some kind of abnormality.
Turning your own despair into some kind of fetish. Abnormality doesn't even begin to describe it.
Like, Genocide Jill is crazy for sure, but this is a whole nother level of nuts.
Yeah, just like Jill actually understands what she's doing.
You're saying I don't compare to some lowly beast that can only kill the weak, right? So I'm hopelessly attractive, hopelessly brilliant, hopelessly athletic.
Hopelessly annoying?
I'm the hopelessly perfect ultimate human.
No.
No. I don't think there's anything perfect about anything you just said.
Yeah, Master's way more perfect. Because on top of everything else, he's got that noble blood.
Don't you mean had that noble blood?
What did you just say? What do you mean by that?
You still haven't figured that part out yet? Man, you guys are so slow!
And back to Monokuma personality.
You haven't even solved all the mysteries, and yet here you are, yapping away!
Are you talking about our memories?
You've already solved this mystery, right? I'm the killer, so how about the next one? Maybe you should solve the riddle of your missing memories. Then you can start gloating.
Damn straight! That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to solve all these mysteries. And then, we'll have our victory!
I can't wait!
All right, then let's just get straight to the point. What memories did you steal from us?
He's not going to tell us.
When the group pictures were taken, and those interviews, it must mean... I got it! It must have something to do with our entrance exams.
That's a no.
No fair! At least give us a hint!
Your brains are like sponges, all drippy and leaky. I already gave you a hint before. All the memories you lost share something in common with a few other things. Do you recall?
That's what Monokuma told us. That is wrong with us. The motives.
I got it! You're talking about the motives you provided to try and get us to kill each other, right?
So you do remember after all. Well, I would hope you wouldn't forget something so important. It was stupid of me to even ask. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for my bad manners.
Go back to the Monokuma personality, please.
So then, let me ask you another question. Did you notice that each motive I presented you had a specific theme to it?
No.
Theme?
Yep, you got it. So that's my question to you all. When Sayaka was murdered, what was the theme of the motive I presented?
What motive Monokuma gave us the first murder? Monokuma gave us the DVDs. I didn't use this as my family. Sayaka was her friends and the old shit. First murder was even connections.
I got it! The driving force behind the motive you presented us with at that point was human connections.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. Remember those DVDs I gave you guys? Each video showed the total destruction of your most important relationships. For example, your family. For example, your friends. I ruined all those relationships and showed you the results. It was to motivate your desire to escape and kickstart your urge to kill. But still, what a cruel thing to do.
You're the one that did it!
Yes, well, I'm perfectly happy to accept your disapproval.
I'm not sure you have emotions.
Okay! Time for the next question!
Please, anyone with this one.
So, what was the theme for the second motive?
That would be Dark Past. Second murder mostly was. We got this written in those like. I mentioned how I used to wet the bed. That time was past.
I got it! It was our past, right?
Yay! Makoto got it right again! That time, the theme was... embarrassing memories and secrets! Yeah! And the whole reason Mondo did what he did was to protect his secret.
So, how long do you plan on dragging this out?
Relax, relax. Okay, on to the next question.
Who's Chief's personality?
So, what was the motive for the third murder?
Third murder. This one's farther. Because that was the fight over alter ego. Can't say okay. Celeste from the murder was she wanted us to escape. So the fight broke the castle for the most against the men. And what the murder was greed.
I got it! It was money, wasn't it? Greed.
Seek and destroy! Hell yeah, you got it again!
I forgot about that one.
Goddamn straight it was money! Celeste killed Hifumi and Taka for a little personal gain. Her greed led to all kinds of death and destruction.
What's the point of all this? Why are you making us go through this case by case?
Don't worry, sweet cheeks. Just one more to go. Now, can you tell me the motive behind crazy-ass Sakura's crazy-ass death?
It's hard to say on that one, actually. I don't think his soccer step wasn't that made soccer inside the killer set. I think it was my comics with soccer secret. The case was betrayal?
I got it! In her case, it was betrayal.
Precisely. You see, once I revealed Sakura's betrayal, that led to everything that came afterwards. Anyway, it looks like you answered all of my questions correctly. How painfully delightful.
But what's the point? What meaning is there in asking those questions now?
Relationships? Secrets? Money? Betrayal? These are all pretty standard motives, right? The most normal of normal. Totally middle of the road.
But of course, those aren't the only motives that exist in this world. In fact, there are as many reasons to kill as there are people on Earth. They compel humans to kill each other, bringing despair to the world. This is what we refer to as the seed of despair.
Seed of despair?
Just as water, air, and food promote growth in living things, the seed of despair also needs nourishment.
Case of motives.
And that nourishment is hope. Despair can grow only in the presence of hope. Two sides of the same coin, divided by a razor-thin line. Such is hope and despair.
She's not wrong, annoyingly.
How much longer is this stupid speech of yours? Weren't we discussing our missing memories? Why are you trying to change the subject?
If you would listen, you would see I'm not changing the subject. We are discussing your memories. What I'm trying to say is, the seed of despair is closely tied to your own memories.
How so?
You see, by taking away your memories, I gave you hope. Of course, that hope merely existed to be consumed by despair.
How could taking away someone's memories give them hope?
And plus, you haven't given us any hope anyway!
Is that so? All you've been able to think about during your time here is how to escape, right? The mere fact that that's what you want proves I gave you hope.
What are you talking about?
If none of you wanted to escape this school, the killings never would have taken place. That is why we took your memories, so that you would have the desire to leave.
The only reason we want to leave is because you took our memories. Is that what you're saying?
Correctamundo!
Which means if we did have our memories, then we wouldn't want to leave. Do I understand that right?
What? Why the hell would having our memories make us not want to leave?
I think I get it.
A most troubling thought, isn't it? But it's not enough. I want more distress, more despair.
They wouldn't want to leave because there'd be something on the outside that they wouldn't necessarily want to go to.
I put so much effort into creating hope in order to feed your despair and make it grow. So, just like Crazy Eddie slashing his prices and passing the savings on to you, let me give you a hint.
Huh? Really? Then hurry up and tell us.
Okie dokie. Like they say, seeing is believing. I'd like for you to see the outside world.
Outside world?
You mean the world beyond the school walls?
So something really did happen out there.
Now are you interested in what I have to say? You wanna see what's out there?
Yes and no.
Hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I wanna see too. See your faces sink into despair. Now then, open sesame! Behold, the world beyond the school walls! This is the outside world you've all been so anxious to claw your way back into.
Oh God. Sorry, the Monokuma statue is getting me.
Dangerous. The world has grown so very dangerous. That's what this means.
Of course, that's a very simple Godzilla effect to do.
What are you talking about? None of this makes any sense!
What am I looking at?
This is a scene from a movie or something, right?
What you just saw, all of you should recognize it.
Guys, about to recognize. What was insane?
That world is locked away within the memories that were taken from you. If you can't remember, please just try. Do your best to try and recall.
Better kick your brain in the ass, because it's up to that gray lump whether you live or die. I don't remember ain't a fucking excuse no more, because now it's time for the final class trial! Come on, bitches! Remember or die! What the fuck happened outside?
You want us to remember or whatever, but when it comes to that crazy confusing video you showed us, I don't understand a damn thing!
What's the meaning of the footage we saw? Is this another one of your practical jokes?
I mean, you're telling us to remember, but what am I supposed to be remembering? Nobody can remember anything. This is the end for all of us. What other choice do we have?
bitches! Remember or die! What the fuck happened outside?
You want us to remember or whatever, but when it comes to that crazy, confusing video you showed us,
chill. Okay.
I don't understand a damn thing.
What's the meaning of the footage we saw? Is this another one of your practical jokes?
I mean, you're telling us to remember, but what am I supposed to be remembering?
Nobody can remember anything.
No, that's wrong.
We know the memories weren't shared.
Actually, she might remember.
Who might remember?
The other token, Genocide Jack. The two of them share certain kinds of knowledge, but their memories aren't linked, right?
I see. If their memories are separate, then even if one personality is forgotten, there's a chance the other may still have those memories.
What do you say, Toko?
Are you telling me to swap places with her?
Okay, well, I'm saying it, yes.
No! Absolutely not! That'd be like forfeiting my entire identity!
Toko, you're the only one we can rely on now.
Just want to agree with you, like you said. Yep. Also, since this recording's getting long, this is a good time to reset it.